So when it comes to the vaginal canal and area, we often have people with pelvic pain reporting that they have difficulty inserting things. That could be a tampon or a period cup, a finger, or anything else. And that's quite often a pelvic floor problem, but we want to make sure that it's not a skin problem. So a GP or pelvic physio can look at that. And we want to make sure it's especially not like a vaginal wall problem there. So sometimes people's vaginal walls, they're called the mucosa, can be thinner and lack support. And the other cause, which you can't see, is that your nerves can be hypersensitized there. So it is really important that we get to the bottom of what is causing the vaginal pain or difficulty. And we might ask about other questions like, okay, do you get pain with anything else like arousal, orgasm? Because that's to do with your muscles, your pelvic floor contracting, and I mentioned before, the cervix lifting up with arousal. Maybe it's the uterus contracting with an orgasm as well. So these questions do help us understand more of what's going on if you're comfortable to answer those. You don't have to if you don't feel comfortable. I want to just let you know about the clitoris and the pelvic floor as well. So you can see here, often we think of the pea-sized thing as the clitoris, but that is just the outside and end part of the clitoris. It goes all the way, it looks actually like a penis, and then it joins, so it's got two little sections here that go all around the vaginal canal. So that's where the clitoris is very intimately related to our pelvic floor and the vaginal canal and I mentioned the pelvic floor, sorry. So that's why we might ask about the clitoris, how does it feel with stimulation on the outside, inside, which is more superficial towards the entry. And yeah, we're trying to paint that picture. So if you have pain, is it at the external clitoris? Is it deep inside? Is it in your abdomen? That all helps us understand what tissues might be at play. Is it at the skin? Because we need to do a bit of process of elimination to help you. And sometimes it's multiple factors. So please write down in your workbook if you yourself feel like you have pain to touch at the entry, if there's pain trying to insert something superficially, if it's more of a deep pain, if you experience pain with arousal, orgasm, how long does that pain last for afterwards, and where do we feel that? Is it deep inside the vagina? Is it in the rectum? Or is it even in our lower abdominal area? So if you haven't already understood by now, we often are trying to work on the muscles, their ability to stretch and become healthier. So muscles should be able to contract, should be able to stretch, and they should be able to have pressure without pain. So these are common stretches we might try with our patients, and I really encourage you to have a look at these pictures. There's free access to the demos on YouTube. If you just type in Pelvy app, Pelvy, I have made this and made videos that you can access for free if you'd like to look them up. Because we don't have the means to go through all of these today, but this is a common bit of feedback from previous workshops is that people loved that we went through these stretches. So if it's okay, I might just go through stretches and what they're doing, and then you can try them. So as I mentioned, there are some stretches that specifically stretch your pelvic floor. And on the left, that's your supported butterfly stretch, the squat, the supported squat, child's pose, and happy baby. So if we need to stretch pelvic floor, we often will focus on those. But with all these stretches, guys, you have to let your belly go. You have to ideally try doing some belly breathing during. I've never shown a patient these stretches and gone through them with them and had them relax their belly. Everyone tenses it. And that's really a bit counterintuitive, isn't it? So when you're trying these, give them a go, see how they feel. Usually stretches, we recommend people do it for 30 seconds to a couple minutes. And stretches can feel really beautiful if you add movement, so kind of rocking, and these video demos do go through different options. Other key areas to stretch are our inner thighs and our hip flexors. So a lovely way to do a hip flexor stretch is with support, either like holding onto a wall or the ball here. And once again, like swaying back and forth, rocking back and forth, side to side. I can't emphasize like how good an investment an exercise ball is. They've got really good quality ones at Rebel for a very affordable price. The one I was using was Kmart, and no matter how much I pumped it up, it didn't feel like it was very supportive. But yeah, anything is going to be really helpful so that you can relax and sway nicely. It's definitely worth the investment if you're struggling. So then you can see pigeon stretch, and the reason why we have added pillows into these is because sometimes people find they're too intense and they can't relax their muscles, which is fair. Stretching should always be done at an intensity of like, 3 or 4 out of 10. I'm not talking pain, I'm talking intensity. We should be able to feel that it eases, and then we can often stretch a little further into the stretch a couple times. It shouldn't feel so uncomfortable that you can't relax the muscles. So please watch these demo videos so you can see alternatives that are right for you and your pelvis. The other things that we as pelvic physios will give exercises for and look at with people is, are your joints lacking mobility? Are they stiff and are they causing pain? We've got our hip joints, so that's where the hip rotations with your bum planted on the floor, keeping your glutes on the floor is helpful. Or we might have our lower back and our upper back. Those are common culprits for stiffness here. And upper back care really does make a difference for people with pelvic pain too. So there are examples of mobility exercises there, and often those aren't stretches. Those are moving through the range of movement. And us as pelvic physios will often give people, 20 repetitions or so on each, then you swap the sides, for example. So if you're not going to, or if you're not going to go onto the YouTube, then please feel free to take a photo of this screen. These are your pelvic floor stretches. And remember, we're going to let our belly go and do some belly breathing. Then the next slide we'll go through, these are our hip flexor, hip opening stretches as well. So take a photo here if you would like to work on mobility of your hip joints, your lower back, your upper back. These are brilliant exercises. And once again, if you feel like you're not feeling something, you should be able to let us know. We can go through them with you in a one-on-one appointment. So I mentioned we don't have the time to go through all of the stretches, but I want to go through ones as an example so you know what I mean. So when you can see on the left here, this person is in that stretch, they've got nice pillow support because they had pinching in their hips in the front. Try it as well with an exercise ball and see how it feels for you. Add in rocking side to side and see how that feels for you. You will probably find that one feels better for the other than the other, and one might feel more effective than other. And then try belly breathing. So imagine you're doing your stretch over your ball or you're reaching forward. Please do it now if you aren't already, and get into that position with your pillows or your ball and stretch forward and see how it feels when you add the belly breathing. So let your belly go first, and then widen your belly breathing in and relax your belly breathing out. And widen your belly breathing in and relax that belly breathing out. And as that intensity of the stretch reduces, you can go further into that stretch if you feel you're able. Keep widening your belly breathing in and exhale your belly breathing out. And that's an example of how you can have pillow support, ball, use movement swaying side to side, and make sure you add belly breathing into your stretch. I forgot to mention that depending on, I can't say for the extended future, but you can ask the pelvic physio here if they use Pelvi, this app, with their patients, because if you like these videos and you're seeing one of my colleagues, Ashley Dodd, for instance, she uses this, and if you want videos to help you do your exercises, you can. But as I mentioned, there's free examples on YouTube if you want to watch the demo of the videos. Otherwise, make sure you take some photos of these slides. And they will be in your workbook too. So a lot of people find they have great pain relief with a heat pack. Your other friend should be a TENS machine. We stock the Tap TENS machines here, and we stock another one, which I'll go through in the next slide. And our clinic kindly, at the moment, at least, hires them out. So you can talk to us about that if you want to try it before buying it. I cannot emphasize how helpful a TENS machine is, but often a lot of people don't quite know what to do and how to use them, and that's why I want to go through this, because I can go through them in appointments, but honestly, you can try this at home. So if you come in and you get one of these machines, definitely give this a go at home and understand, firstly, you can put these sticky pads anywhere. If the pain is a little bit more spread out, and then you have it a bit wider on your front, or you could even have one in the front and the back. You can use these anywhere. And you can also use both by plugging them in. If you feel like you don't want the pad here, you just unclip them. There is a manual in the boxes as well, but I found that a lot of people need me to go through this to feel a bit more confident. So what this is not a muscle stimulator like you might have seen on infomercials back in the day. This helps to reduce the pain signals that are going to your brain by distracting your brain with a different stimulus. So there are 5 different modes on here, and some people like some more than others, and everyone's different, right? But I recommend when you're trying the TENS machine that you experiment. So you turn it up with the plus, and you just get to a nice comfortable sensation. You don't need to turn this up to a point that it's uncomfortable. And don't expect there to be pain relief right away. It can take 30 minutes or so for the brain to start to realize, hey, I've got this different signal here. It's not instant. This might not help your pain entirely, but it does help distract the brain and dull it. And so people really do love this for back pain, ovary pain, period pain. And then I would try going to different modes, turning it up. Which one do we like? Sometimes when people wear this for hours, they might feel like it's not hitting it as much as it was, and that's because your brain is clever. It gets used to certain stimulus, so we need to change it up sometimes. So that's when you can just click the power button and go to a different mode and turn it up to the point that you feel is helpful for you. The last mode is 5, it's white, and that is where you see the picture on the ankle. So that is where you can use this for bladder urgency and for bladder pain, but I would recommend talking to the pelvic physio about this first and properly understanding how often do you use this to have benefit. So usually it's 30 minutes a day for doing that with on the leg, and it's for 6 to 12 weeks for best benefit. But you've got to make sure you've got it on the right spot so that it's creating your toe to curl slightly. And so don't worry if you can't figure this all out yourself, that's what we're here for. If you want to see the pelvic physio to go through a TENS machine, just let us know. And then this is another TENS machine, which really does the same thing, but it doesn't have like clickable buttons to change modes. You've got to sort it out on the dial. I believe they might be $55 compared to the other TENS machine, which is at the moment around $100. So it is a little bit cheaper if that is what you need. And you'll need to ask your physio for the modes that are helpful for certain things. So pain relief is different to the modes for the bladder stuff, right? That's why we were clicking on this. And we do sell these as well here. So if you want to use something like this, just keep in mind it's battery operated, and it has like four of these, and the cords are a bit long. So this one you can wear underneath your clothes, and it has a nice little clip if you're using this, or it'll just stick to you and no one can tell you're wearing this. Whereas the one with the leads hanging out, you can tell. So figuring out the right machine for you is really helpful if you're based on your budget, based upon how discreet you want it to be, and also considering that the batteries are quite expensive. So if you want a rechargeable option because you're using this a lot, then I probably would recommend the tap